Welcome to the GCN Tech Show. This week I'm going to show you some cool new tech which I've spotted out there at the Giro d'Italia, as well as some new product releases to coincide with La Corsa Rosa. And not to mention, the hot topic this week is going to be, are tubular tyres and clincher tyres becoming extinct? Now for most of us out there, unless of course we've got some people who are using solid tyres, we tend to use either clincher tyres or tubular tyres on our road bikes. The most popular one certainly has to be clincher tyres, probably due to the ease of use when it comes to having to change an inner tube when you have a puncture, and well, it's rather cost effective too. But there is a slight downside, I guess, to clincher tyres, and that is the weight of them, because an inner tube alone tends to weigh about 110 grams, a decent tyre around about 240, so that's 350 grams per wheel, 700 grams. However, most pro riders tend to actually use tubular tyres. What is a tubular tyre then? Well, hopefully right now you can see on screen a cutaway section of a tubular tyre, and well, the inner tube is actually sewn within the actual carcass of the tyre, or the casing if you like, and then there's a base tape mounted onto the bottom. Now you cover that in glue, cover the rim in glue too, which is specifically manufactured for tubular type tyres, and well, the curvature of the rim matches up with the curvature of the base tape, and together combined that creates a really firm joint or adhesion if you like. Now, a benefit of using tubular tyres certainly has to be the lower weight, because while the rim itself tends to not be quite as heavy as a clincher tyre rim would be, and then also the tyres themselves, you can get them down to, well, 250 grams say for a road racing tyre, and even much lighter for a track specific model. A big benefit of these tyres, and why pros still use them to this day, is the security if you were to puncture. So the aforementioned clincher, if you puncture on one of those, generally it's not that safe to continue riding on them, because the tyre becomes really deformed and the actual sidewalls of the rim, they tend to bulge out above the tyre as you start to ride, and well, it's just not easy to ride even in a straight line, let alone around a corner. Whereas the pros, well, they use those tubular tyres for the reason they can continue to ride along to their heart's content, or almost, certainly a couple of kilometres, whilst riding on a flat tyre, just because of the actual way that the tyre is held on with that super strong glue and the structure of that rim. But these days we've got tubeless tyres. What are they all about then? Now, mountain bikers, they have been using tubeless setups for years and years, but well, we've been pretty slow on the uptake, to be perfectly honest. Now, it could be said that a tubeless tyre takes all the great benefits of a clincher and a tubular and puts it into one. But what exactly is it? Well, it's a simple tyre. It loosely resembles a clincher tyre, but there are some differences in the actual bead around it, and they do tend to be a little bit more difficult to fit onto a rim. Now that rim, that is going to be a tubeless compatible rim, because the bed of it is slightly different too. The idea behind it is you have an airtight chamber within it, and then with a special valve and a special rubber bung, it loosely resembles a modern car wheel. They're of a similar weight to a tubular setup, but arguably more durable, as during the installation process of a tubeless tyre, you use some tubeless sealant. That helps create the airtight chamber in between the rim bed and the tyre bead, but also helps prevent any punctures, or rather repair any punctures whilst you're riding along. Now, it's not going to do it in every single case, but 99 times out of 100, I reckon it will. Unless, of course, you get a big old slash in the tyre, and then, well, if you're using a clincher or a tubular, you're going to be stuffed anyway. Now, tests have also shown that they are just as good, if not better, than even the best performing tubular tyres. And if that's not enough to tickle your fancy, they say that you can even use lower tyre pressures too. But that's a whole different kettle of fish. So are tubeless tyres the new clincher? And are pros going to start riding tubeless wheels and tyres? I don't know, but a little birdie has told me that one team in particular is exclusively using tubeless tyres this year. So nothing else on their bikes, and well, virtually every other World Tour team too has been trialling with them at one point or another. Now, I don't blame them. It seems a logical choice, let's face it. The only downside I can see is if you're riding along in a group and someone gets a puncture in front and some of that sealant goes up onto your jersey, it turns to rubber and it's not that easy to clean out. But well, that's only a problem for you and me. The pros, they don't buy their kits, they don't have to worry about that. Let me know though, are tubeless tyres here to stay, or is it just a fad that we're going through and we're always going to remain stuck in our traditional ways? Get involved down there in the comments section, and next week we will read out some of the best comments. Right, hot tech now, and while I was at the Giro d'Italia last week, I had my camera with me and I thought I'd take a few snaps of things to share with you. So first up is the handlebars of Primoz Roglic on his time trial bike, and just check out those shifting buttons on the end of the extension there. So the mechanics, they've either used some sprint shifters or climbing shifters and then glued them on the ends and then routed the cables internally. What is interesting though is actually where they're positioned. They're not right on the end of the handlebars. Instead, they're kind of 2 or 3 centimetres from the end. So Roglic obviously has his preferred position there. And I think it looks great. And I was privileged really to be able to get up close and personal with those handlebars. Now, sticking with things on the bars, and Vincenzo Nibali of Bahrain Merida had a customised SRM PC8 head unit, which of course gives him his power output and all the stats he needs whilst racing, and it had a digitally printed image of his face on the side, a classy yet subtle nod to the ever popular Shark of Messina. Esteban Chavez, the Colombian rider of Mitchelton Scott, he had some nice aero socks on, but the best thing on his feet had to be these customised shoes. Check them out. Really beautiful and bold, colourful blocks. Not to mention the fact it has his old physiotherapist name on there, Diana Casas, who sadly died a couple of years ago. And for those of you who've followed Chavez's career, you'll know he's had a few injuries along the way, and it's good to see him putting that finishing touch onto his shoes there. I like that touch. Now, something I did say actually to Esteban was, "Oh, I really like your shoes there, mate," and he looked really flustered. It was about 10 minutes before the start of the race and he was frantically looking for some gloves. It's probably one of the few times I've never seen him smiling, but he did look round and go, "Thanks," but just wanted to carry on with whatever he was doing. Now, whilst at the Lotto Soudal mechanics truck, I managed to see a new bit of kit being used for the first time, and it was a cleat fitting system from a company called ErgoView. And well, you would have the shoe mounted onto it upside down, and then a clever expander goes inside of the shoe and holds it nice and firmly in place. And then, using templates and lasers, you can simply remove the existing cleats, put the new ones on in exactly the same place. Now, this is great news for a mechanic because time is never on their side, so they don't want to spend too long doing it. And of course, they don't want to make a mistake because that could easily write off a rider's season in seconds. Lovely bit of kit. At first I thought heavily complicated, but it's not. But I want to get a closer look at one pretty soon. And lastly, this almost showroom condition Bianchi mountain bike that was being ridden around by a local. Absolutely lovely, that eye-popping Celeste. And well, it had 26-inch wheels, so it's got to be from the early 90s. Now, sticking with Bianchi momentarily, they've just released a limited edition run of t-shirts called the Copy 100. The t-shirt itself features some nice artwork on the front of the legend Fausto Coppi, and it also comes with another copy, although this one is just a copy of the front page of La Gazzetta dello Sport. And that actually explains all about when Coppi won via a solo breakaway in 1949 on the stage from Cuneo to Pinerolo. Nice. And finally, a couple of weeks back, Chris and I, you'll remember, we spoke about the Castelli Gabba jersey and how it changed cycle clothing. Well, Castelli have launched a pink version of the Gabba and also the Perfetto jersey in both men's and women's. Right, there we are, all Giro'd out. More tech next week. Right, it's now time for the part of the show called Screw Riding Upgrades by Upgrades, where you can be with a chance of winning one of these GCN Camelback Eddy water bottles. So, what do you have to do exactly? Well, using the uploader tool found in the description below, upload pictures before and after of your upgrades to either your bike, your workshop, in fact, anything cycling related. First up though, we need to announce the winner from last week. It was between Jussi and Sean, and well, with probably the biggest victory to date was Sean and his workshop. 89% of the votes. Right, get in touch with us, Sean, on Facebook to arrange delivery. This week, first up is Evan from Boulder, Colorado in the USA. Evan was perusing his local bike shops and saw this Fausto Coppi in the window. It had a broken derailleur hanger and it was just $30. Evan took it to a builder and he welded a new one on for $50. Evan then went to his local non-profit bike shop and dug through the bins of old parts and found all sorts, including bits of an old 105 group set. And voila! A bike. Evan even rode it from San Francisco to Los Angeles on a charity ride. That's 545 miles, by the way, and it performed flawlessly. Evan, I've got to say, that is great. Because normally when you try and weld back aluminium, it becomes all twisted and well, it's not that easy, trust me. That is a great looking bike and you've done it for not a lot of cash. Really nice work. Right, okay, Evan though, he's up against Daniel from Cologne. Now Daniel bought this rally from a friend for €150 because Daniel only wanted a cheap bike for the city. But Daniel got the bug of searching on eBay. Welcome to the club. He found a complete Shimano 600 Tricolor group set in good condition for a good price, including some Mavic rims with Shimano 600 hubs. Daniel, you've really got the bug, mate. The seller gave Daniel the 3T bar and stem for free, and Daniel decided to strip everything down and build the bike completely from scratch, finishing it off with a Selle Italia Turbo saddle. I'll tell you what, when you get bitten by the eBay bug, it is a nightmare. I'm infected with it. Right, what have we got? Oh, those old 600, that's the first proper group set I had on a bike, that 600 Tricolor. I've still got some bits of it at home. Oh, that's a beauty. That is. Oh, that rally. Grew up just lusting after one of those. I don't know though, who's it going to be this week? Daniel or Evan? Evan or Daniel? You decide. Vote up there. Right, it's now time for the part of the show called the Bike Vault, where we rate your bike either nice or super nice. So using the uploader tool down there in the description, include information about you, your bike, and even where you come from. And if you get a super nice, well, I ring the bell! Oh yes, no one else is here to ring it with me this week. With no further ado, I'm going to crack on with the first one. It comes in from Rainer in Samlesbury in Lancashire in the UK. Now this is Rainer's Simoncini Super Record, late 80s era. It's got Ooyy tubing, depends what you want to call it. It's a beauty, that turbo saddle, Bonotto handlebar tape. Go easy, Rainer, in the wet. Once that stuff becomes wet, it's more slippery than a fish, and well, you just can't hold on to it and you'll just come a cropper. But I'm sure you know that. I've got a Simoncini as well. Gum sidewalls. I mean, that's just instantly Britain. Yeah, you are getting a super nice. That's a lovely bike. It's got a triple chain set on there. Don't often see, you know, old vintage bikes like that. I reckon you've been tackling some bergs up there. Either way, super nice. You're getting a ring of my bell. Right, next up, we've got Case from Santiago Canyon in Orange in California. I've been there actually, lovely part of the world. Now this is a Specialized S-Works Venge Ultegra Di2 group set by the look of it. Envy wheels. Saddle's pretty slam back, isn't it? Big bottle on there. We've got a, what's that? It looks to be a Garmin cadence sensor there on the left-hand crank. And I can see that, and we know why, don't we, Case? Because you've taken the picture the wrong way round. Just flip it, and that would have got a super nice. Because everything on it, it's looking good, although you've got big chainring and big sprocket at the rear. Not my preferred gear choice, but everything else is lined up oh so perfectly. Go back, take it again, and maybe you'll get a super nice. This week, it's a nice. Right, next up is Francis from Montreal in Canada. What's Francis got? That's a Cannondale. What have we got on there? It looks like Dura-Ace. It's not Di2, Dura-Ace Mechanical. No, it's not, it's Ultegra even, my bad. Quark power meter, looks to be an absolute black chainring. Head wheels, some gum sidewalls. Those valves are lined up perfectly. Good work on that one, Francis. Supercaz bar tape. I don't know, there's something purple on the stem, or is it that graffiti backdrop? I don't know. Either way, I think that personally for me is a super nice, Francis. There we go. Right, next up, Rich from Chianti in Tuscany. Oh, look at this. Looks to me like he's a bit of a professional photographer too, is old Rich. This is Rich's De Rosa Protoss 2019 disc. So we've got, looks to me to be a Super Record disc group set. It's a mechanical one. It's a grey. You don't see many grey bikes out there. Grey's quite in at the moment, fashion-wise, I've been told. I don't know a lot, so I just have to go on what I've been told. Again, Supercaz bar tape, I think. There's a lot of Supercaz bar tape always in the Bike Vault. Selle Italia saddle. Looks like a pair of Conti tyres. Valves are lined up. Everything's lined up. We've got no messing about. There's no extras added on there. Rich, congratulations, mate. You got rung. And the final one this week comes from Con in Brisbane, Australia. Oh, I love Australia. I love Brisbane as well. Right, this is a Bianchi Specialissima Pantani edition. Wow, so this is like a remake of the Pantani bike from back in the 90s. I guess, well, mid-2000s possibly. It's a beauty in it again. Campag. We've got some Shimano Ultras. I love them in that black. They look so good. The way the decals pop out. Yellow saddle. This looks like an old SLR. Mega light those saddles are. Matching stem. Seat post is really straight as well. Yeah, what's not to love about that bike? You know, the red pedals and everything. Got all the details spot on. Nice one. There we are, the bike vault done and dusted for another week. But remember, if you want your bike to, well, possibly get into the bike vault, who knows, we do get so many. Remember to use that uploader tool down there in the description below. There we are, nearly time for the end of the show, but don't worry, during the next week we've got a whole heap of great stuff coming out, including more content from the Giro d'Italia, and also on Sunday I show you how a water bottle is made. I loved it. I've never seen one being made before, but well, I finally got to be able to see one. On Monday we've got a maintenance for you, Wednesday back in here with the GCN Tech Clinic, and then Thursday, yep, you've guessed it, the GCN Tech Show, where hopefully I'll have a partner in crime back in here to help me. And now, don't forget as well to like and share this video with your friends. Give it a big old thumbs up. And why not check out the GCN shop at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com, where we've got a whole heap of goodies for you to check out, including some Italian-themed beauties. And well, for 2 more great videos, how about clicking just down here and just down here.